All right, y'all, come on in, come on in, come on in. We got some stuff to cover today. A lot of good stuff. Now, your boy Mark Carney, y'all, decided to touch our ground, our country today, y'all. Now, I'm going to show y'all how it started. And then I'm going to show y'all how it's going. And then I'm going to show y'all how it ended. We're going to do it in that order, okay? For those who don't know who he is the Prime Minister of Canada. Recently got voted in, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, he was talking some ish and stuff like that, you know, like they always do. And so they actually get in the presence of the actual president, which is Trump. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got a lot of stuff to say, but when it's finally time to sit face to face with our president, they get lemon face. So y'all, today, the content I'm going to show y'all today is, baby, they are grilling in their ass. Excuse my French, okay? Everything I'm about to show y'all is an F around and find out from Trump and his entire administration team. I don't know what circle table meeting they had before they all went out and did these interviews with these folks. But, baby, F around and find out era is in the building, okay? This is a great time to be alive, y'all. This is epic, and I'm going to keep saying it. Cherish every bit while Trump is in office in this team. Because, baby, I voted for this. You all voted for this. Regardless if you voted or not, he is your president of the United States of America. Whether you like it or not, when you go to sleep, you wake up, this man is your president, okay? However you like it. Anywho. They getting in that tail, y'all. They getting in that tail today. So we gonna do how it started, how it's going, and then how it ended. All right. So with that being said, y'all, coming straight from Mark Carney, his sales page, I arrived in Washington, D.C. ahead of meetings with President Trump tomorrow. Canada and the United States are the strongest, and we will work together, and that work starts now. So this is your boy landed in advance to be able to prepare himself for this meeting that he gonna have for Trump. So let's dive into it, y'all. Let's see how it started. Small little clip. Okay. Touchdown, baby. All right. How it started. Right? Now we're finna dive into how it's going. Coming straight from Mark Nixon 24 on X, y'all. If y'all want to follow this person, we gonna get into it. Hang on real quick. Donald Trump pulled out a masterclass in trolling today. Knowing Mark Carney is 100% woke, smashes wokeism for 4 minutes straight, right to Carney's face. Trump knew exactly what he was doing, and Carney looked like a swollen lemon. Let's get into it, baby, because one thing you ain't gonna do is try a president. Let's go.
There's a fever gripping America. And while it rages, Canadians will remain resolute and true to our values. While America engages in a war on woke, Canadians will continue to value inclusiveness.
And then if you weren't, if you didn't have, I don't want to be a wise guy, but if you didn't go with the DEI, if you didn't go with all of the different things woke, if you weren't woke, you couldn't even use the money. You had to have a certain percentage of this and that and that and that. It's impossible to have. The companies actually complained to me. They say they gave me all this money, but nobody can get these people to do anything. I mean, look. President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder and I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster. And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people, and they have massive cost overruns. The job is stopped. I don't know. It's a disaster. And I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct, and he didn't use good, hard...
Coming from a man who do this, okay? Who do this. Don't forget. Let's get it.
Tough, mean construction workers that I love, Marco. I love those construction workers. but he didn't want construction workers. He wanted people that like never did it before, and he's got a disaster in his hands. Like millions of dollars, really many millions of dollars over budget. And I would love to help him with it, or somebody else. I could recommend professionals, but it was not built in a professional manner.
Shots fired.
By the way, nor
Look at that face.
was in California a little train going from San Francisco to Los Angeles. It's being run by Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. Did you ever hear of Gavin Newsom? He has got, that train is the worst cost overrun I've ever seen. It's like totally out of control. So then they said, all right, we won't go into San Francisco. We'll stop 25 miles short. And we won't go into Los Angeles. We'll stop 25 miles short. It's hundreds of billions of dollars for this stupid project that should have never been built. And then they realized
wasting money.
A lot less costly if we just gave
Tax
limousine
dollars.
service back and forth and gave it free. They would have saved hundreds of billions of dollars. They have airplanes that go there for one 1/100th the cost, and they have cars. They have a thing called the highway that goes back and forth. It's not fully utilized, and they got involved with this project. And Gavin, I always liked Gavin. I had a good relationship with him. I just got him a lot of water. I sent in people to open up that water because he refused to do it. And we just got them a lot of water. If they would have had that water, and if they would have done what I said to do, they wouldn't have had the fires in Los Angeles. Those fires would have been put out very quickly. But if you think about it, and you got to take a look at this project, it's the worst cost overrun I've ever seen. I've watched a lot of stupid people build a lot of stupid things, but that's the worst cost overrun I've ever seen, what's happening between San Francisco and Los Angeles. And you ought to ask about that, because this government is not going to pay. I told our very great new Secretary of Transportation, he's doing a good job, Sean Duffy, I said, we're not going to pay for that thing. It's out of control. This is something that you don't have things like this. It's not even conceivable. Like 30 times over budget, 30 times. It's the craziest thing and now it's hundreds of, it was supposed to be a simple train. And I think the media should take a look at it. And I'd love him to run for president on the other side. I'd love to see that. But I don't think he's going to be running, because that one project alone, well, that and the fires and a lot of other things, pretty much put him out of the race.
Okay. So Trump also goes to talk about like not using Canada steel or their cars, because we have our own steel, our own car shop. If y'all have not watched it, go check it at the same guy that was talking all that ish when they voted him as prime minister. Y'all got humbled real quick. Got humbled. So how it started, how it was going, and the internet has no chill, y'all. Donald Trump, Mark Carney. Hey, I'm just a messenger. Don't be getting mad at me or upset. This is the internet. Has no chill. All right, y'all. Moving right along. So I told y'all this is getting a tail day today. Again, these people are not taking no ish from nobody. I don't know. Biden administration got this administration messed up. Y'all think that y'all can slang that same lingo with this administration, and they not playing with y'all. Everybody he picked is not playing with these folks out here. I keep telling y'all, F around and find out era, and that's exactly what they're doing. They gonna check y'all. So we finna get into Stephen Miller. Here's why Kamala Harris owes America an apology. Let's dive into it.
The only thing Americans want to hear from Kamala Harris is an apology for joining Joe Biden. And remember, she was the border czar. Joining Joe Biden in aiding and abetting the invasion of our country. And we're never going to stop talking about this, because what they did to this country is unforgivable. It is an eternal stain on the Democrat Party.
Yes.
Every day we read another story. Every day we arrest another alien they let into this country who raped a child, who beat a woman within an inch of her life, who murdered a mom, who murdered a dad, who trafficked drugs into this country, who trafficked fentanyl into this country, who are responsible for dead and slaughtered Americans. And I don't know what's broken in the Washington press corps, that none of that moves them emotionally. The only thing that gets them exercised is, do we need to have more trials for terrorist supporters? Do we need to have more trials for gangbangers? Do we need to have more trials for illegal alien invaders? Even though Congress and the Constitution clearly say that you can expel invaders and illegal aliens quickly, efficiently, and properly. This president has literally saved America, and I could not be prouder. I could not be prouder, as I know Caroline feels the same way, to come every single day to this building where we have a leader sitting in office whose first, last, and every thought is the safety, prosperity, security, and sovereignty of the citizens. That's an important word, people. Citizens of this republic.
Stop playing. Give it to him, Stephen Miller. Let them know. We've been moving right along. Get in their tail. Let's keep it moving, y'all. That was Stephen Miller. Let's keep it moving. I got some more for y'all. JD Vance. Jake Tapper, baby. This is why JD Vance will be president in 2028. Let's get into him. He chewing somebody out. Like, let's go.
Ask yourself a basic question about network integrity. You guys talked about the Russia hoax nonstop.
The FBI was investigating it. The FBI was investigating it, and so we covered them.
And so you took the words of unnamed FBI agents and put them on your network as if they were the gospel truth. You did it again and again. A viewer of your network would have believed that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin conspired in 2016.
No.
That was totally and preposterously false.
No.
Well, that's
what you just said is
why.
false. We covered an FBI investigation. I don't know why you want to talk about the FBI investigation.
You covered it in a way that gave credence to anonymous sources' accusations. You did it yourself. Your network did it, Jake. But again, can we talk about the issues that Americans care most about?
I'm talking about things that Donald Trump has said.
Yes.
If you have an issue with whether or not he's talking about the economy enough, that's between you and your running mate. I'm talking about things he has said this week.
Every single rally that he does, he talks about how he wants to unleash American energy so we can lower the cost of groceries. He talks about the fact that housing has become unaffordable. He talks about the wide open border, Jake. Kamala Harris and her allies, you know, it's interesting. Kamala Harris and her media allies, and I would put CNN in this category. You guys,
they wouldn't.
You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that they wouldn't.
Well, they should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people. We're running this campaign on making the American dream.
I'm specifically asking about how Donald Trump is going to be president in the future should he win, and then we're being told
he's going to pursue economic policies that lower the cost of groceries and make life more affordable again. He talks about it every single day on the campaign trail, and so do I. What you're talking about is an anonymously sourced story, or one guy
anonymously sourced,
or who one guy who is a disgruntled employee.
I told you,
five other people pushed back against him and said that what he said was dishonest. So why don't we talk about the policy that's affecting American citizens and not what Donald Trump allegedly said, according to one guy who's pissed off because he got fired by Donald Trump?
So y'all, as y'all can see, we got back when Trump was running for president, and then we got 2025 of these administration getting in these folks' tail. Trump wasn't even president yet. Get you a vice president who got your back like that. He like, whoa, who you? Come on now, y'all better stop playing. Let's keep it moving. Today is getting in their tail day, man. All right, now we got my girl Pam Bondi. Sounds the alarm. Let's dive into it. Coming straight from Proud Elephant on Proud Elephant US on X. If y'all want to follow them, let's get into it, man. It just keeps going.
Larry, it's interesting. People in China don't get addicted to fentanyl because they're shipping it to our country to kill 18 to 34-year-olds. 75,000 Americans are dying every year because of fentanyl. It is a weapon of mass destruction, in my opinion. It's destroying lives. It's costing our taxpayers trillions of dollars. And it's killing our kids, 18 to 34, number one cause of death. The precursors are all made in China. It's shipped to Mexico, into our country, or through now India, other routes, ports of entry, USPS, coming into our country, and they're killing our kids, and it's got to stop. And it takes 1 grain of fentanyl. I put it in here to show you earlier. You can barely see it. It looks like 1 grain. This is salt, not fentanyl. 1 grain is all it takes to kill an American citizen. And that's what these people are doing. Yeah, and Larry, it's interesting. People in China
coming with the facts, getting in their tail. This is what we voted for. Let's put a stop to all this. because it's literally killing our American people and our children. And we don't want that. We don't need this. We don't need this. We finna keep it moving, y'all. We finna, everybody coming up, stepping up, and letting them know what it is. Like, it's got to be a stop. Coming straight from Rep MTG. Joe Biden had 11 bills signed before the end of his first 100 days, with Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats running the House. Republicans only sent 5 to President Trump's desk. Let's dive into it, y'all. My girl.
Bill, and you're a Bible believing Christian, correct?
100% from the first page to the last.
And you've been a supporter of Israel. This weekend, talk to me about this bill that some of the biggest supporters of Israel, Gates, Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon, and parts of the Bannon operation, the Worm operation, MTG, were adamantly opposed to coming out of the House.
We're defending freedom. This isn't anti-Semitism that we're not pushing that. We don't promote it. We don't want to have anything to do with it. We don't want hate for any people, for their identity, race, religion, whatever. Here's the situation. This bill is promoting anti-Semitism in America, Steve, and I'll tell you why. Because when Americans see another country, any country, and their interests constantly being pushed and promoted here in Washington, D.C., before the American people's interest and the things they voted for are being voted on the House floor, that is driving anti-Semitism.
Is that why you
that's
think?
a problem.
Is that why one of the reasons people under 40, or it's like 90-10 now, don't support Israel? Is this one of the reasons?
I can't speak for that. I have no idea, but I'll just tell you it's black and white and simple. We're not going to, I'm sure plenty of my Republican colleagues were going to, but I am not going to vote on a bill that tells Americans or American companies who they can buy and who they can boycott. Because in America, you have the freedom to buy and boycott whoever you want, Steve, whether I agree with it or not. People hate on me every day. They give me death threats every single day. They say lies about me every single day, and I still defend their freedom to do that. That's called the First Amendment. And I'm completely opposed to a bill that would push international court and international laws on Americans. And that's what that bill was going to do. That's why I oppose it. However, there's a lot of people in America that are sick and tired of saying, I don't want to fight Israel's wars. I don't want to have to constantly support Israel's interests. And that is what is driving anti-Semitism in America. And it's wrong. It's completely wrong. If we just do our job, and our job and what we campaigned on was putting America first. And it's so simple. But in the House, I have yet to see President Trump's executive orders in mass being voted on. We hardly have seen that. I have yet to see rescissions, Doge cuts made permanent, and I haven't seen our reconciliation bill done. And let me tell you what a big deal that is, Steve.
Does it
In Joe
hate us?
Biden's first 100 days, Nancy Pelosi got 11 bills to his desk, and that included the Democrats' reconciliation bill. They had it done in the first 100 days. President Trump's first 100 days, Steve, we got 5, and we got a CR. A Biden Democrat CR to President Trump's desk that he should have never been forced to endorse, and I should have never been forced to have to vote for.
We're going to have a $2 trillion deficit this year, fiscal year, because we're off of Biden's numbers. I want to go back. Of the 130 some executive orders, which will leave whenever President Trump, which will go, the next president has the ability to either enforce them or tear them up. You're saying you want to see those codified. You have not seen any movement in the House to codify most of his executive orders.
That's right. We have a
What are we waiting on?
Republican-controlled House. We
Haters.
have a Republican-controlled Senate. Now, we do have the 60-vote problem in the
but
Senate.
Is it no interest in at least in the House, you can get this rolling,
The House,
right? And make it a political issue.
If every Republican understands the mandate in the House, they should have no problem voting for all these executive orders. After all, this is what we campaigned on.
This is key. This is my point. That's the separation
No
between
excuses.
President Trump's action coming from the executive, not followed up by the legislative.
Every single one of President Trump's orders, executive orders, are temporary unless the House and the Senate codifies them into law. Every single one of them are temporary. Every single thing we fought for the past 4 years, every single dollar donated, every single door knocked, every single vote cast will be thrown away unless Republicans codify these things into law.
Let's go to the money side.
Let's get to work. What we waiting on?
The CRA guys over the weekend, and they're not going to go forward with impoundments because the House says we're going to do rescissions first. Where are the rescissions?
I haven't seen them. Here's the situation. Rescissions, there's no excuses. Pass the House, and you need only a majority in the Senate. You only have 51 votes. That's not a 60 vote margin.
Right.
Rescissions are easy.
And we could have hundreds of billions of dollars of rescissions right now, correct?
That's right. We could easily do that. And America supports Doge. Americans support this.
So
this
there's no action coming from the House at all to codify those cuts?
I haven't seen them. I held an explosive hearing as the chair of the Doge Committee.
Yeah.
Absolutely. On NPR and PBS. We should have seen a rescission the very next week. President Trump had to write an executive order defunding NPR and PBS. This is a no-brainer. Why haven't we seen that voted on the House floor? Why haven't we seen that go to the Senate?
What came off of your committee, it seemed like House could just turn around and just do it. President Trump's head blew up. Everybody's when they saw it.
Yeah.
That's why he waited long enough and finally said, I'll sign an executive order.
And do you know what people across the country would have done? Good job, Republicans. Thank you.
Finally.
But we got nothing.
And I want to hang on. We're going to talk about reconciliation when we get back. Can you stay for another segment?
Yeah.
Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene in the
My
House.
girl.
By the way,
Georgia.
What action are you going to demand they take today when you get back up when you walk across the street to the Capitol?
Well, we don't gather up until 6:30 for votes, so I don't really get to demand anything today.
By the way, I looked at the schedule. You guys are not here that much between now and the 4th of July break to get the
We're
register.
here this week, and then 2 more weeks after that. We have a Memorial Day week off. We're back, I think, 3.5 weeks in June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time.
Did you take this much time off when you ran
Never.
your company?
Never.
You're a 7-day-a-week type.
7 days a week. 7 days a week, boys and girls. That's what everybody watching the show understands.
They're workers are working 2 jobs.
Working around the clock. Yeah, y'all. So it's crazy that how I thought before understanding how it all works was once you get in there, sign the executive order, it's like boom, but it has to go through, it has to pass through all these other places. And unfortunately, you have Republicans and you have Democrats and you have people stalling around. So it's just like, that's crazy that if it doesn't, so the temporary and it doesn't fall through unless they actually agree and pass it and all this other type of stuff. And if the next president come in, he could either or tear it up. All the work put in, everything that they're trying to do, you know what I'm saying? All these loops and hurdles that they have to go through. You would think it would be something so simple if everybody was on the same page to be like, hey, let's go ahead and run this through. Yeah, I believe in that. But unfortunately, reality, the world we live in, as y'all can see, it's going to take some time. Okay? It's going to take some time. But like they stated, Biden had 11. Trump only got 5. What's going on? It just goes to show you. You know what I'm saying? But we going to continue to keep fighting, baby. Let's keep it moving. That was very informative. Okay? Now, we finna dive into this because we the people still have a lot of answers that need questions, baby. And myself and her and everybody else, we want to know. Coming straight from Merch on X, y'all. We have all heard this before, but she is calling for an investigation as to why, out of all the numerous, maybe hundreds of rallies that President Trump has given, why was July 13, 2024 Butler, Pennsylvania rally the only Trump rally that CNN ever covered and aired? Let's get into it, y'all.
I just left my YouTube platform. And as I was scrolling through the shorts on YouTube, I came across a video that really began to make me think, and just how diabolical and wicked and evil some people are, especially media, fake news. Now, on this short, it said that Donald Trump had done around 90 whatever rallies when he was campaigning for the presidency, this past presidency. I chat GPT'd it, and it said that he had done over 70 something, approximately 70 something. So we really don't know how many he did. However, one thing was for sure is that on this video, it said that there was one rally that CNN broadcast live. And I couldn't believe the rally that they said. So I chat GPT'd it, and come to find out CNN did not broadcast any of Trump's rallies live, but one, in fact, just one. And that was, Jesus, this one right here. You mean to tell me he had all these rallies and you didn't broadcast any of them live?
None of them.
But you decided that particular day that you was going to broadcast this one live? Y'all do know the importance of this one, right? It's almost as if, well, I'm going to let you read between the lines.
Read them. Common sense
And if
people.
that is the case, that is so evil, wicked, and diabolical. People want to say this is a conspiracy theory. I say it's in your face. I honestly think that a lot more investigation needs to go into this.
Hell yeah.
Especially because of that. God bless.
And I was watching something on Benny Johnson when they was saying that, you know, they pretty much was washing off the top of the building and all this other type of stuff, and that they didn't even give it a chance for the coroner to come and even view the body. It was like a lot of fishy stuff going on, as if they were trying to clean house. I watched that segment on Benny Johnson. Y'all need to go check it out. It was crazy. I was like, that don't make sense. What are we, you know, seriously trying to clean up here? Y'all, don't worry. I believe they gonna dig a little deeper into this, because I mean, y'all see the minute that happened and stuff like that, how they just try to brush it and put some other stuff in there so quickly to just throw it off of that. No, hell no. Nope. Let's get back to it. Okay, let's get back to it. Yes, it needs to be investigated. Let's go. Coming straight from Sue Knows Best, y'all, on X, Sue's 86453. If you want to follow this person. In 1996, Clinton signed into law that illegals do not have to go before a judge to be deported. So once again, it's Democrats crying about Democrats and blaming Republicans. Shocker. Let's dive into it.
He doesn't need due process. Obama deported 74% of immigrants without ever seeing a court case. None of you people bitched. In 1996, Bill Clinton signed into law that you don't need to go before a judge to be deported. So if it's about due process, take it up with the fucking Democrats and stop your bitching.
Not your pick.
He doesn't need due process.
Obama Hold on, I'm trying to get his Instagram, y'all.
Immigrants without ever seeing.
This is not your pickle. What? Pickle gay man. Oh, wow. That is his TikTok if y'all want to follow him. Not your pickle gay man. And it's Pical, pickle. Anywho, if y'all want to follow him TikTok, you got TikToks. That's where you can follow him at. And boom, where's the facts? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy that they really talking about due process and all this and having trials and stuff like this for these folks that came over here the wrong way. It do not make sense. And the people with common sense, we can't make sense of this crap. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And again, if that's the case, everybody need due process. The hurricane victims, the people that houses burnt, in California and all that train wreck that happened with them. Every single citizen down here needs due process. And if we finna be due processing anything, I said it before, January 6th, people need to, that was sitting there rotting in, didn't get no trial due process. These pro-life that was sitting in jail, due process. Everybody needed. Then if that's the mother freaking case, if we gonna do it for illegals, then we can goddamn do it for the citizens of the United States of America who actually stay here and pay these tax dollars for y'all to even do that. All right, moving right along. Let's get into it. Rapid Response 47, y'all, coming straight from there. All right. Where you want to get the real news and not fake news, then you would make sure you want to follow them on X because it's coming straight from the White House. With that being said, at Mark Taper, Bill Clinton deported 12.1 million during the presidency. 92 to 93% of those people he deported were sent back without a formal proceeding. To what President Trump said, 5 million trials, that's impossible. You can't do it. I agree. Check this out.
20 million or so who broke the law, and there was no enforcement of the law from the Biden administration, which presented an even bigger issue because they were able to come here illegally without any issues at all. Bill Clinton deported 12.1 million during his presidency. 92 to 93% of those people he deported were sent back without a formal proceeding, aka due process. OK, so look to what President Trump said, 5 million trials. That's impossible. You can't do it. And the fact that these judges continue to get in the way and try to derail his deportation efforts, it's brutal because, you know, to Caroline's points earlier, the Manhattan Institute estimates an average net fiscal burden of $68,000 per illegal migrant, which actually goes up to $130,000 for those with lower education levels. That is a big drain on society. And one of the things that President Trump has mentioned is for these people who self-deport, they have an opportunity to come back the right way at some point in the future.
The right way. Do y'all hear that? These judges need to be held accountable, man, because y'all sit it like, and these the very people, the activists, keeping their pockets, worried about their pockets and stuff like that. Somewhere down the line, they making money off of this ish. Let's just throw it out there. Because why else would you go against the grain? Wouldn't you want the same thing, Judge? Didn't you literally sit like, and it's a lot of this ish going on. They have to be held accountable. The only way they're going to be held accountable is if something is definitely done. Other than that, they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do, which is to fix the purpose. They got to be held accountable. All right. So coming straight from Derek Evans, 4WV, y'all, fake news. MSNBC had to issue a correction live on air because they claim FBI Director Kash Patel has been out partying at nightclubs instead of working. Let's circle back. Yeah. Get right. Let's go.
Now let's circle back to a segment from Friday's show. Frank Figliuzzi was on that morning during this hour discussing the work of administration officials. At the end of that segment, Figliuzzi said that FBI Director Kash Patel has reportedly been more visible at nightclubs than at his office at FBI headquarters. This was a misstatement. We have not verified that claim. We will be right back.
Clean it up, because y'all know these lawsuits is coming left to right, and y'all up next. Clean it up. That's right. Stop playing with the Trump and Trump's administration. Like, y'all gonna stop playing. Y'all finna F around and find out. Another fake news. Another one. In case y'all did not know, stop playing. They cleaned that up quick. Whoa. Now, I'm definitely going with my boy Scott. The one thing Scott gonna do is grill. Get in that. And that's what it's all about today. So with that being said, y'all, CNN panel loses over Trump's 250th anniversary military parade. Scott Jenner wrecks them on live TV. Let's go. I love seeing this. Let's get it.
The things that animate him about what he really gets excited about. It is about branding. It is about imagery. It is about kind of this nationalism. The fact that they're going to consider, or probably, I guess now, really have this military parade. We don't need a military parade. We don't need to spend millions or maybe hundreds of millions of dollars.
What y'all spend? So you telling me that we don't need a military parade that actually honors the veterans and people who actually fought and stood up for this country, and some of these ungrateful people, but y'all can sit around here and have these colored looking libs screaming and terrorizing the country. Y'all can have these bimbos, but y'all can use the tax dollars and all that to go do all this other stuff everywhere else, but we cannot sit here and do a nice parade to celebrate the actual people who fought for this country to keep us safe, the actual people, family members who lost a loved one to try to protect this country, and some of the ungrateful people in it. Are you serious? Shut up. Bimbo Award goes to this man right here for talking stupid.
To also do that. But we want to do it because he has to feed his inner image monster.
He said it himself. He wants. Maybe he.
Are you guys
thinks
against
of
the
himself as a
military?
movie maker.
Love the military.
$100 million?
I don't think it's called.
You cannot be cutting tens of thousands of federal workers at the same time you say we're going to waste money on a military parade.
Why is it wasting?
That's not wasting.
It is what do we need to show off our military?
Oh, hell, I'm on the show. Tag me in, Scott.
Strongmen do that. It has nothing to do with pride in the military. Strongmen do that because they want to make their citizens cower. They want to say, we are strong. I am here. I have all these weapons. Aren't you proud of me? We don't need to do that. We know that our military is, multiples the size of anybody else's military on the planet.
I know,
we don't
Scott.
need them to bring the missiles down Pennsylvania Avenue in order for us to know that.
It's not about the size. In the last 4 years, morale in the military was down, recruitment was down. There is a concerted effort going on right now at the Pentagon, and it's already successful to enhance recruitment and to enhance pride and the idea of joining the military. I think you all are discounting the idea that a national parade for our military to show off our military, to show pride in the veterans that have defended this country. And you
Facts,
all are
what I just said.
Veterans, he was just trying to rename Veterans Day.
I love it.
You being disrespectful to my father who fought in 2 wars for this country, man. Shut up. I'm with Scott. Common sense. But y'all can go and what he say? What did Doge find out that they'll go and go get all these waste all these tax dollars to the big stadiums, throwing major parties and all this other type of stuff. So the little money that Trump is trying to do, or whatever, however much he spends to support the military and the veterans that fought for this country, is a good thing. If y'all taking money and buying stadiums for partying and not doing nothing that's showing for it, man, come on, stop playing. I know that's my face right there too, Scott. Just like for real.
I'm super proud of our military, but I don't think we should waste money. I think that the worst thing for morale that I've seen is Pete Hegseth as the defense
secretary. That's the worst thing you've seen?
For morale?
The literal worst thing you've seen?
I think pretty much. I mean, it's embarrassing. If you want to embarrass people...
Talk to a rank and file military person. They'll tell you the wet blanket is off.
Boy, thank y'all. Okay, I'm out of that show, y'all. I was with Scott all the way. I don't know why they let the man have a mic, and for them to sit there and say waste money, that is definitely not wasting money. If we're going to scream and talk about wasting money, then let's just go into what Doge discovered. Now that, my friend, was a waste of money. That is something we didn't even ask for our tax dollars to go to. I'm all for a military parade because they deserve it. These are the very people that fought for this country, but yet they homeless on the street. How is that? Make that make sense. Some of these people put their everything behind them to freaking go out and fight, sacrifice their families, their babies. Some people didn't even make it home. And y'all sitting here talking about a waste of money because Trump is wanting to do a military parade to finally show that we respect and we love y'all and thank y'all for y'all service. How selfish is that? It's not fucking waste of money. Y'all see? Do y'all see who they support? Like, we can't make this up. Let's keep it going, y'all. This is crazy. We have been invaded. Millions upon millions have entered our country illegally, and President Trump was elected to get them out. Yes, he did. Let's get it.
We have been invaded by millions upon millions of people, and he was elected to get them out. He was elected to get them out. And what some people are proposing is a backlog system that will never allow us to go to get them out.
You're describing illegal immigration, which has been around for a long time as an invasion, which is fine for you if you want to do that. But why is that unusual that there's a process to go through to deport people? I mean, that's actually just how the system works.
Do you know how long it takes for this process, this paperwork to get people out? The guy that we've all been weeping and gnashing teeth over, the guy we sent to El Salvador, was in the country 14 years illegally.
But what about what
We've got millions of people who have gamed this system, and now they're going to give it
Either you
some more.
believe in the Constitution or you don't. And
I believe in the sovereignty of the United States, or you don't.
But
So you don't believe
do
in
you
the
believe in the
Here
Constitution?
you go
Sovereignty
again.
of the United
So you
States,
don't
and I
believe-
believe-
Shut up.
And I believe we've
And
been
you don't believe that
Can
Donald
I
Trump
just ask a
should
question?
abide by the Constitution?
Just a serious question.
Of
Do
course
you
I
believe?
do.
And of course I believe.
Do you believe that he does?
And I believe that he will follow, just as he said, what the Supreme Court says. But the policy debate is worth
From
having.
the very beginning,
millions
of Trump,
upon millions of
when
people are
Trump
here, and they will not
campaigning,
leave. And he
he
has to get them out.
always.
Say you a Trump hater without saying you a Trump hater. Say you a Trump hater without saying you a Trump hater. I'm like, this man again, Scott. All right, y'all. So just to sum it and break it down, I did a reaction about, Trump administration and finding an actual way for people, illegals, to self-deport themselves, cutting down the tax dollars and all of that. So they're giving them a chance, being very generous. They can't see. This is one thing about them. This is how they different from the Democrats, because you would think after these Democrats taking so many L's, somebody would go back to the drawing board and say, hey, what can we do to try to save the last few of us, right? No, they're not thinking about that. At least they go back and say, hey, we still hear the people. Although we still gonna get our job and do what we need to do, we still listening and hearing the people. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So let's come back to the table and let's see another way that we can do this. Maybe if we give the illegals a chance to self-deport themselves, you know what I'm saying? That'll cut costs, give them a little money to be on their way, whoop-de-whoop. And then, like they said, maybe eventually someday they can come back and get in the right way. So they went back to the drawing board and came up with a plan B. Okay? Because they heard the people like, yo, this going on, that's going on, or whatever. So they had common sense to say, let's sit down, let's figure out how we can get them up out of here, right? Boom. Easy, right? You know what I'm saying? So my boy Kaizen is on here and he's about to give you the breakdown. If y'all not following him, y'all can follow him at That's Kaizen on X. Make sure you follow his YouTube, y'all. Very informative, very detailed. Elon Musk loves to repost his content, because when I tell you, if there's something you need to understand that you really don't understand, I go to him, okay? Because he's great. All right. He be helping me out. So with that being said, y'all, he finna dive into the whole Trump is paying illegal immigrants the $1,000 to self-deport. Let's check it out.
Let me show you something. Trump just announced a proposal to pay illegal immigrants $1,000 each to self-deport. Do you think that's fair? Well, that depends on how the information is presented. And the media is presenting it differently on the left versus the right. Look at Associated Press. Now, if you're like me, you probably grew up thinking of the AP as a neutral source of information. But in my experience, AP is actually left-leaning. And Ground News, the app and website that I rely upon to sort through media bias, agrees. And this illegal immigration story shows exactly why. If you go to the AP article, the headline says, Trump administration says it'll pay immigrants in the U.S. illegally $1,000 to leave the country. The 572-word article spends the first 170 words reporting the news and the remaining 402 words on criticisms of Trump's deportation plan. Now, none of that info is false. That's why Ground News identifies AP as having high factuality. But there's some key facts AP didn't mention at all. So now let's filter this story by right-leaning sources like the New York Post. Notice how their headline is different. They say Trump admin set to pay illegal migrants $1,000 to self-deport. DHS says it will save taxpayers a ton. It costs taxpayers an average of $17,000 for the feds to arrest, detain, and deport a single illegal immigrant, and self-deporting will save 70% over the cost of rounding up and deporting each illegal migrant. The news hits kind of different with that context, doesn't it? And that's how media bias works. It's not just about the facts, it's also about the choice of facts that they focus on. And that's why I use Ground News. It's the best app for seeing how both sides report a story so you can form your own conclusion. Now, personally, I'm a fan of any policy that incentivizes following the law rather than forcing it. The majority of Americans support some degree of deportation. I'm guessing the majority of Americans would prefer that this happens in the least forceful way possible. Practically no one wants to see women and children crying or ICE raiding homes. We need to enforce the law. And we can do that with grace. Because illegal immigrants are still people. This policy incentivizes illegal immigrants to choose when and how they leave the country. It lets them preserve their dignity in making a choice to leave rather than being physically forced to. It gives them some money to resettle elsewhere. And with 10 to 20 million people here illegally, it just isn't practical to do this all by force. So I love the policy. But regardless of your opinion, remember this. The quality of your opinion depends on the quality of your information. That's why tools like Ground News are essential. It not only helps you understand the biases of the media sources you listen to, it gives you a summary of top headlines from the left, center, and right. And with the Vantage plan, you get unlimited access to features like info about who even owns these media outlets. So if you go to ground.news/Kaizen right now, you can get 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the biggest discount they offer, and be fully prepared to get the ground truth. You can't avoid media bias, but with Ground News, you can see right through it. So click the link in my bio to subscribe to them.
Go on and do that, yo. So it's Kaizen. I've been saying Kaizen. It's Kaizen. Kaizen, y'all. So, yeah. They went back to the drawing board and said, what is another way we can do this not forcefully? Well, we can give them the option to leave on their own. And while we do it, give them a few dollars. You know what I'm saying? They listen. They tuned in with the people. Okay? So, yeah, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, kicking it with your girl. Are Democrats dumb, evil, or just massively out of touch with reality? I'll say all of the above. All of the above. Okay? Because, come on. We ain't got nobody that says, hey, we done took a lot of L's. We've been out here showing our tails. Let's go ahead and go on into hiding so we can go ahead and figure out how we're going to be able to save ourselves, because we done dug a hole so deep. So deep. I don't think we can come up out of this. It'll be a miracle if they did. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in, kicking it with your girl. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you watched this from beginning to end, thank you so much, because what that does is push it out to YouTube. YouTube be like, oh, let me push it out to the world. And we trying to focus on getting the truth out there, y'all, especially with your boy Trump up in office. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm taking advantage of getting the truth out, baby, because before then, it was hard. But now, yeah, let's get it out there. Make sure y'all tell a friend and tell a friend. Share this, share this, share this. Thank y'all so much. If you watch it from beginning to the end, thank you. I hope y'all got what y'all needed to get out of it. What are y'all thoughts? Y'all know what I'm about to say. Let's chop it up in the comment section.